Welcome to the first PowerPoint of your discrete math class. I really enjoy this comic strip, as I'm sure you all felt like Calvin. So let's begin, inductive and deductive reasoning. In class today, we talked a little bit about the difference between inductive and deductive reasoning. So if you were absent, the first slide that came up was this rectangle, followed by the triangle, then by the hexagon. Then the ultimate question is, what's next? In inductive reasoning, you'll see that a shape is next, in this case, circle. Well, I wanted to try again to see whether or not you are following along quite as well. So our very first one this time is the television set, followed by the computer, then the telephone, and a fax machine. Yep, believe it or not. And again, what's next was our wonderful, colorful radio. Again, trying to find and observe things that are similar about them, thus inducing or using our inductive reasoning for the radio. Our final try was one that I thought was quite interesting. It kind of personified who I am. So we had the palm trees first, then our beach, lovely beaches of Hawaii, followed by the hula girl, I believe, hibiscus, and then what's next was me. Yay! This was a trip, again, that we took to Hawaii when my husband and I were first married. As you click on through, you'll begin to find some given definitions as far as inductive reasoning is pertaining to. Please take a moment to understand that it is a process. It's based off your conclusions and observations. It doesn't be concrete. In detail, there could be more than one outcome when we're using inductive reasoning. Common names would be conjectures, hypotheses, educated guesses, all commonly used, again, in your science classes. Inductive reasoning is just a process that we use to help us solve some problems. We may be right, again, we may be wrong, or there may be no correct answer in the end. Its counterpart, we'll learn about later. Here is a wordy example of a strong inductive argument. Gives us facts, percentages, allows us to make an actual observation in the end. Take a moment to read it. This is sort of what the class will be like. A lot of wordy details, pulling information from it. The next slide is one of a weaker inductive argument. This is one that if you have a father that never cries, or a boyfriend, in case my husband who never cries, you may come up with this weak inductive argument. The next slide that we're going to encounter is for your practice, fill in the blank. Not only do you have to fill in the blank, you have to actually think of some viable arguments, valid reasons why you chose those numbers. The first one, hopefully you notice multiples of 3. Some of them are more complicated than others. You see things in different manners than the person sitting next to you or people in your class, so one problem might be easier than the other. I'm going to give you the answers here on the next slide. You'll encounter these on your assignments as well, so just take note of the reasoning that follows it, right? You could do add by 6 on top. The second one, I'm sure you can read on your own, but multiply by 2, then by 3, then by 4, and then we start all over again. Just kind of a tricky pattern. Notice that there can be more than one way to interpret your answer. So if you got it in a different way, it's not incorrect. It's just the one that I didn't select to write down. So please share your thoughts if you weren't in class already on how you got your next number. I'm always interested to see how you approach a problem. The next slide, we're going to talk about deductive reasoning. And it's one where you have specific conclusion, more formula-based thought. So keep in mind, as we go through deductive reasoning, you'll encounter a process, theorems like the Pythagorean theorem, the algebra theorem. There are theorems out there that are set for us, and we'll follow those as we go through them. In our next slide, you're going to encounter an example of deductive reasoning. One that I found very interesting as I was preparing this lesson, proper names. So Texas is a proper name. It's prohibited in the game Scrabble. If you can do this brain exercise and get those answers correctly in 15 seconds, wonderful you. Try it out. Again, you want to say the color that the word is printed in, not the word itself. Say it out loud, maybe for your mom or dad or sister or brother or dog, cat, whomever. Once you're done with that, you'll encounter a list of assignments after an example. This comes from your assignment. Number 35 is a problem from your assignment. So please look at the directions. If you need to go back, please do. This slide gives you the table that I created of the 4 numbers of my choice. So I chose the numbers 5, 8, -9, and 25, written out in table format following the process given. Then, so we have this double the original number. 5 is to 10, 8 to 16, -9 to -18, and 25 to 50. Before we give you your assignment, you're asked to do this by deductive reasoning, thus implying that we may have a formula, an unknown number, hence using the letter N to represent the number that we begin with, and following the process along the way. Notice that all the outcomes in the previous table, we'll go back to that slide, and the given assignment from this lesson, only 18 problems. So take a moment, look through those. Okay, have fun. Some optical illusions here that we want to look at. So we have this figure. Whom can you see? Let me know. There should be some images. And then one here. Tell me again whom you can see in that process.